What's the we don't talk about that in your family? My baby cousin died of SIDS in the mid-2000s, or at least, that's what most people were told. It was only 2 years ago when I was Googling my grandmother's obituary that I came across an article that described what really happened. I had no idea, but he was being babysat by my grandparents while his parents, my aunt and Uncle Obs, were on a night out, catching up with old friends since they had been living abroad and were just home for a visit. They got home at 3 a.m. or so and went into the spare room to check on the kid and, well, he was dead. I think it was a travel cot that was defective, so he somehow slid out of it and ended up hanging himself essentially. Ambulance called, but nothing that could be done. He'd suffocated a couple of hours before that. I was only 6 at the time, so I get why I wasn't told, but finding it out in my late 20s through Google felt kinda odd. I never asked my mom about it because it was traumatic for her as well. She got a flight there as soon as she heard and had a pretty hard few weeks with her grieving family. There were mandatory court hearings to determine accidental death, which it was, thank God, no fault and no penalty. But to think that my now deceased grandparents lived with that guilt for near 20 years, as well as OFC my aunt and uncle and everyone else, made me realize why so many dynamics were strained or weird. That's the thing that comes to mind, but my dad's side has similar things, though he prefers to just not tell me when my relatives fall ill or die. Everything from my grandfather's alcoholism, my great-aunt's schizophrenia and suicide, my uncle losing a limb during deployment in Afghanistan, and the fact that my dad himself has a different father than the one I grew up calling my granddad. Oh my God. All of those things I found out through passive eavesdropping as a 10 to 14-year-old. Needless to say, I don't talk to him anymore. He wasn't great at keeping contact after he left my mom, which they also didn't tell me about. He was just chasing his dream job in another country. I don't know when they actually broke up. He left when I was 13 or so, but he did call my mom once asking for money from my college fund because he needed a car or something, and then they never spoke again.